said, "Hey, Valentino, what are you doing over there in Escambia County to draw business in? You gotta look the part and act the part. You expect us to come over and visit you." The man was Dr. Sugar, chairman of the board of a small company called Northrop Grumman, who I had the privilege of meeting 2 years ago in Farnborough, England, at the U.S. Ambassador's home in London. And he looked at me and he said, "Are you ready for us over there in Escambia County?" And I looked back at him, shaking in my boots, and I said, "Pour it on, Mr. Chairman. You can't move fast enough to make us happy." And I'm out of time. I'm sorry. I'll finish up if you have questions.
All right, and we will go to the questions. If you have any that you haven't turned in, you might want to do that, but Elizabeth is going to sort of moderate the questions, which will be asked to all the candidates, and we can just sort of go back and forth letting them answer.
How we'll do it is we will start the first question can be Karen, and then the second question will start with Jean, and then the third will start with Dave Merson, and so on like that. Okay? Is this really working? It doesn't sound like it.
We can hear. It's weird, but when you're on the
I got good luck.
you can.
All right. Not counting our current environmental mess and economic losses, in your opinion, what is the most important issue in District 2?
Well, you heard me say it once, you'll hear me say it numerous times. It's public safety. If the citizens do not feel safe, if the perception of a district or a community is that it's not safe, that hurts across the board. It hurts economic development, it hurts tourism, it hurts everyone. And right now, going door to door and talking to our citizens, the number one concern that I'm hearing from them is the public safety concern.
Well, there's really two issues, in my opinion, and they go hand in hand. At the constituent level, your leader has to be transparent and trustworthy. He has to be totally revealing and being able to be counted on. That's probably the most important issue, but it runs in parallel to what that leader should be doing, and that's focusing on economic development. I think with a true economic development plan, things like public safety and infrastructure and other services, if you will, are able to be afforded without compromise. The sheriff is working his tail off to make squeeze blood out of the rock, if I might use the metaphor. And I've seen him do handstands at trying to get more for less. And I'm very proud of him for having done so. We're going to have a challenge in the next budget process, but that would be it. It would be economic development and public trust and confidence in its officials.
I'd have to agree with Jean. The number one challenge in Escambia County is economic development. Because if you want to grow a community, you're going to have to keep its children here. The place can't be filled with military retirees who came down here to enjoy a view of the beach and eat at Orion Steakhouse until it's time to pass on. Our hope is in the future. If you can't promise young people growing up here jobs in our community, they're not going to stay. We've got to bring economic development here to Escambia County. Gene also makes a second point, and a very valid point: confidence in elected officials. Every time you open the newspaper, one of the reasons I got into this race, every time you open a newspaper, it seems like somebody in an elected office is under another cloud. We've got to come out from under that cloud, because people who do business internationally, who may come to this area, are going to read the newspaper, and they're going to talk to people. And if you read the newspaper, can you drink the water? I don't know. I don't think the water's safe. Can you breathe the air? The News Journal just recently said we couldn't even breathe our own air. Okay? Are the elected officials honest? We're competing with Miami-Dade for the number of county commissioners per capita taken out. by a governor. How about our kids? A-plus schools, remember that? Ground zero for vouchers. We have to come together as a community. And people don't believe elected officials anymore. That's our biggest problem. Doesn't matter whether you're on a school board, county commission, state level, or federal government. Nobody trusts elected officials anymore. And until we bring back that trust, by bringing back the honesty, we're never going to have people build that vision of what our community is going to be.
Commissioner Valentina, this is going to be first up on this one. What is your opinion, and I think you did answer this already, but what is your opinion on economic development being run by the Pensacola Area Chamber of Commerce?
Well, since you know my answer,
Since
you know my answer, let me say that what I proposed is on the shelf and it will be reintroduced when I'm reelected. And it's a separate standing authority that stands arm's length from the sticky fingers of a politician, yes, but also out from under the Chamber of Commerce, not because I have any axe to grind with the Chamber, but because they're ill-suited in their legal structure to be able to do what is specifically necessary that a Top Gun, Class Act, special ops team is needed to do in the economic development area. Economic development today is a science. It requires a special skill set. I don't have a problem paying an economic development director $180,000 to $200,000 a year. If he's bringing in 1,000 to 3,000 jobs a year to this community, he's doing his job. She's doing his job. But you cannot stand there and suck off the doles of the county's assets and not produce they haven't produced an economic development strategy with a commitment to jobs per year. That's where I come from in the corporate world. You make a commitment to me to deliver, I'm holding you to it. If you don't, you're gone. Or if there's a good reason, we'll compromise. But the point is, lead follower, get out of the way. And we need that kind of aggression in economic development now in this county more than ever. We are desperately behind the neighboring communities. And that's why I'm going to be reintroducing the economic development plan. And if you'd like to know more about it, you can go to the county website. It's on the website now. And I'll be asking for your support on an economic development plan that has worked in other communities in this nation.
Commissioner's got a good point. The Chamber needs a swift kick in the rear. First of all, there's no accountability. We haven't audited the books. I think the clerk of the court's office ought to take on down there and say, okay, let's see the books. I'm not afraid of the clerk of the court's office looking at any of the books of any constitutional officer in Escambia County. We should not live in that fear. There have been people in the past who've said, oh no, we don't want to look at our books. The best thing you can do is have a second set of eyes. It's, oh, we have an outside auditor. Enron had an outside auditor as well. Don't trust him. I'd rather have Ernie Lee or Lisa take a look at those books than other folks. I want to see the accountability from the Pensacola Chamber. If we're paying them that kind of money, they need performance measures built into what they're doing. Because right now, there aren't. They take an awful lot of travel to an awful lot of places, and they don't bring anything back with them. Okay? That's called fat, dumb, and happy. And they shouldn't be doing it on the taxpayer dole. Okay?